I ask you, how many to date, how many NDIS participants have died, either from or while having COVID-19?
Professor Kelly will get that, but again, the data will include both with and from COVID, because as I said, we report all COVID positive deaths as if they were COVID deaths.
So just give me a moment, Senator. So in terms of through the whole pandemic, and this is up to the 31st of the 1st, and this is data from the NDIS Quality and Safety Commission. So these are NDIS participants. 51 have passed away.
51. And do you have the similar figure for those that were DSP, disability support pension recipients?
I don't have data on that, Senator. I'll have to take it on notice.
All right. Do you think that you will have data on that? Because I know that's the two data sets of disabled people that the Commonwealth collects.
That data would have to be sourced from DSS, I would think. Sorry?
I think we'd need to look into matching the death data we have with the data held on DSP recipients by the Department of Social Services, so we can look into whether or not that can be made available.
So you haven't, just to clarify, that hasn't already been done, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, no.
Not to my knowledge, Senator, no, but we can take that on notice and see if we can get that from the department.
Yes, please do, because okay, yes, please do. It's a very important set, and another one that I would have hoped that we'd have 2 years in. Can I ask you what is your understanding of the current percentage of the Australian population that has it's defined as an underlying health condition?
Do you mean in relation to deaths?
Yeah. We're having a little bit of an issue with your audio, Senator Steele, John, where we're kind of occasionally would clip a word and we don't hear it. So could you just repeat that? No, that's fine. It's happened this afternoon.
So just in relation, my understanding is that if you look at the population as a whole, about 43% of the Australian population can be counted as having an underlying health condition, matching the definition that is used by the federal department in relation to the reporting of COVID deaths. I just want to check that that's correct, and B, that's up to date figure.
So I'm not sure I completely understand your question, Senator, but I will give you an answer, but please apologise if it's not the answer you're looking for. But again, as I mentioned earlier, and the Secretary also mentioned, we do have, it is actually a legal responsibility of medical practitioners to provide a death certificate, including underlying causes of death for every single death in Australia, unless they are unable to do so, in which case it becomes a case for the coroner to examine. And so that more detailed data that we talked about that goes to the Australian Bureau of Statistics and then is provided to the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare looks into these more detailed matters that you're referring to. We know from the last, and so this is back again to all deaths in COVID-19 up to and including the 31st of October, so it's not timely, but it is complete. 71.2% of people had a pre-existing chronic condition certified on their death certificate. So almost 3/4 of people that died up until that point did have a chronic disease as defined. In terms of what proportion of the Australian population has one of those chronic diseases, I think you'd be in the right sort of ballpark, but I'd have to take that on notice in
All right,
general.
and I think maybe I missed a couple of words there, but I think you've just given me actually broadly what I was looking for. So of the death figures that we have to this point, did you say 33.5% had a underlying health condition?
71.2%.
71.2%. And can you give me an idea of what that, what constitutes an underlying health condition under that? Are we talking people with cancer, or are we talking people with serious respiratory conditions? Yeah.
There's a range of conditions there, Senator, but I'd have to take the full list on notice. What I can say is the most common comorbidity was diabetes, and the second most common was obesity, and heart disease and lung disease, chronic lung disease, were also high on the list of underlying causes in that group. So that was the first 1,600 and just over 1,600 deaths in the pandemic to that date.
Okay.
Senator Steele, John, I'm going to have to